Have you ever wondered how some people can go into a job and when they say, "What's the salary that you're looking for?" know how to answer that question clearly with a good chance of getting that money? Today, we are going to talk to Alicia Moore, and she is going to share with you her tips and secrets from being in the executive wing in Silicon Valley about how you can ask for the money and what it is that you need to think about in the entire compensation package. Alicia, it is my pleasure to have you here today.
Thank you, Nancy. I'm pleased to be here.
So, Alicia, as you take a look at this concept of asking for the money, and I know you have successfully broken the glass ceiling, being able to do that, what kind of led you to be able to figure out what it is that you needed to do?
So, Nancy, I actually have a 4-part framework, what I call the cash framework, for how you can best position yourself to get the most value out of your employment. And the first element of the cash program is C, which is take a comprehensive view of value to you.
Okay.
Yeah,
So, what do you mean by comprehensive? What does that look like?
it means that not all money is created equal. So, and not all value is created equal either. So each person needs to take a look for themselves out of what will most benefit them. So let me give an example. Let's start with base salary. Base salary is great. It's good to know how much are they going to pay you? What's your salary going to be? But where do you fall in the gradation part? Right? So when HR takes a look at making an offer to you, they slot you on a level. Now, there's overlap in the dollar amounts, but if you can get slotted at the highest dollar amount and the lowest in the level, your room for expansion when they go to look for giving you pay raises is much greater than if you start at the top of the level. So knowing where you fall in the grade scale is an important thing to know.
I appreciate that. So, several years ago, I was working for an engineering company. I built that grade scale for them. And you're right. It's not a matter of being at the top of a grade scale. You actually want to be at the bottom of the grade scale, but in the highest grade scale that you can be. So I appreciate that thinking. And if I was in an interview, how would I be able to pull that kind of information out of them from a grade scale perspective?
At the right point when you're starting to actually talk salary, I would ask the question, where does this fall in the grade scale? On what grade scale is this? What are
Yeah.
the comparables within the organization for that? And you can find different ways to state that, but it's important to be able to kind of gather that information if you can. I want to add another element, which is bonus, right?
Yes.
So sometimes in order to get you over the hump, they will say, hey, we'll give you a sign-on bonus. It's great. A sign-on bonus is good, but it doesn't add to your base salary over time. And so it can be a one-time pop. Are you better off negotiating for a bonus at the outset, a sign-on bonus, or maybe a performance bonus or maybe increasing to your base? Now you might say, okay, but if I increase my base, then I only get paid out over time, and that's true. So one of the questions when I say take a comprehensive view of value to you, do you need the money now? What are you trading off for that money now? Another thing I would say is sometimes they offer you a sign-on bonus. Is that in cash or is it equity? Do you want the money, the cash now, or do you want to have it come to you as part of an additional stock bump? Now, if you have a lot of confidence in where the company's going or control over that, you might want that stock bump because it's a way to go forward.
Right.
Or you may want that sign-on bonus because you're going to take that cash and invest it in, money market or something that's going to give you a more diversified portfolio of growth, but still set you up for growth.
Mm.
So money can come to you in a number of different ways, and things to think about are the time value of the money that comes to you, whether that money creates a base from which you can leverage more, or how you leverage the returns that you can get on the money that you do.
That's a great tip. That's so valuable. Like everybody, if you were negotiating, even if you're negotiating your next salary or next promotion, think of this through. Okay, so you said hash. So what's the A stand for?
So the A is once you've accepted the job. So we've been talking about when you're negotiating your way in. Now you're in an organization, you need to be aware of how the organization operates and what the alternatives are available for you. So when you're talking about asking for promotion or some kind of pay bump, be aware of how the organization is situated, what they value, and how they value it. So let me give you an example. It may be that the company is on a massive growth curve. Great. How are they rewarding people? Are they doing bonuses periodically throughout? Is that bonus in cash, or is it stocks or RSUs or other kind of value that way? Do they offer paying for continued education so you can get an additional degree on them, or personal development? Will they sign you up for courses that develop you, showing that they value you as an employee, that can extract value for you? Again, it's not cash in your hand, but it may position you for a lot more cash in the future if you can get the title bump. If you can get them to pay for other perquisites, knowing what's available, and just because it's available doesn't mean you have to limit yourself to that, but it does mean that the corporation has already set up funnels and structures to make that happen. So if you can speak into what they already offer to others or to people they value, or that makes it easy for them to say yes to you because it's familiar to them, that's the way to go.
I really like that idea. I know I've written contracts for people in the not-for-profit agency, and we clearly put in the amount of money that they would get in continuing education that they could use towards the investment. However, as an engineer and in the corporate world, I initially just assumed that was coming. And so I love the concept of being able to, can I get this negotiated into the contract? Okay, so that's A. Where does S take us?
So S is where you show, not just tell, your value. It isn't enough to go into your boss's office and say, hey, I'm feeling like I want a raise. I'd like some more money, please. Can I have some more money? If you have created a clear understanding and awareness of what your company values, and if you can demonstrate how you contribute to your company's success, either to the new product that you've developed as part of an engineering team, or a new system that you created that helps make things easier for others, or just generally how you have supported others in the organization, that's where you show your value and you build support around you for that promotion or the pay bump. Doesn't have to always be a promotion. It could just be the pay bump. It could be the bonus, or it could be salary. And those things can happen outside of the annual review structure. And those conversations can happen really when you have celebrated and achieved the goals that you've set forward. So one of the things that one of the other attributes about show not tell is really build support within your organization. not just managing up, but managing sideways and managing down as well. Because Zig Ziglar, I think, put it best, that you can get anything you want in life if you help enough other people get what they want in life. So really embracing the strategy that you are part of a team, and the more that you can, as a team, celebrate people outside of your silo, celebrate people and their achievements. And the more that you amplify the celebrations for those, of course, in which you participated as well, the more that the goodwill will flow back to you and create a perception of your value in the organization, which makes, again, an easier sell when you're asking for a pay raise.
One of the things that's interesting that popped up as you said that is this concept that every employee has an ability to make an impact to the cash value of the company and the bottom line.
Yes.
And one of the reasons companies reduce the number of people on their team is because the difference between cash value of the company and the number of people. And so the easiest place for them to remove money from the bottom line is people. But if you know very specifically how your work, your value attributes to creating cash within that company, then you have a much better marketing position for yourself in that process. And so one of the things that I hear you say in that is really get a good understanding of how your value creates profit for the company. And too often, I think people in the corporate world just assume the company pays them a salary and there's not that connection. So I think that's really a wise tip for everybody to understand.
Thank you. And Nancy, as you were talking, it's also really important, people work really hard, and they think if you work really hard, then they'll get recognized and known for it. And that's just not necessarily the case. Mm-hmm. It's important to understand what the company values and where their positioning is. We're back to the A about awareness, because if you have a company that's in financial straits, it's downsizing, you may get offered the field promotion because they've let other people go, and now they have you doing the job of 3 people instead of just yourself, and they're doing it to save cash. So how is it at that time that you can ask for additional money for taking on those? How can you ask for money at that time, still be viewed as a team player, and get the money that you will deserve for the things that you're doing? And the ways that you can position that even at a time like that. And again, to your point, it's about the value from the company's perspective of what you're offering them and enabling them to do.
Alicia, you are giving so much gold in this talk. So I want to hear what the H is for, the last letter in the cash methodology.
So the H is extremely tactical, and that is where you take a look at how. You've looked at comprehensively what value means the most to you and what is it that you're looking for. You've looked at what the organization is and how they value things. You've demonstrated your value and built your support within the organization. And so now it's time to walk into the office and say, I would like a raise. I think I deserve a raise. Or can we talk about a raise for me? Or a bonus, whatever it is that you're going to be asking for. And so the first and very most obvious thing is you got to be prepared in advance. Make your case in your head and make your case in your head about what that value is, be clear about it, and know how to communicate that in language that they'll understand. So whether it's increased efficiency because now we've downsized, or whether it's expansive, enhancive growth while we're growing or managing the growth curve, or whatever it is that you're doing to contribute to the company, have that case very clear in your mind. And then the next is timing is everything. It's not the only thing, but it is everything. You got to be able to be situationally aware and read the room. in your head, you've been having this conversation, you've been prepared, and you're ready, loaded for bear, and you walk into your boss's office that morning, they've had a crisis, or they've had a personal crisis, or the company's had a crisis, or something is going on. This is not the ideal time. If you feel that in your gut, it's probably not the ideal time. Hold off for a day or 3 or a week, or, now, don't get into the habit of thinking, oh, it's never the right time. There's always something going on. If that's the case, then, you know, pick your best poison. But knowing, is your boss good in the morning, stressed in the afternoon? When is the best time to kind of have that conversation and plan for that? But be situationally aware, because a great case can be lost if it's not heard, and it can't be heard if the person that you're talking to is, not able to hear you at that moment.
Wow. I wish I had you in my ear coaching me years ago when I was working my way up, or when I was asking for pay raises and stepping into new careers. And I remember initially when I started to do it, like this nervousness, this anxiety would come over me. And if I had have had some of these tips, some of these things that you were thinking and sharing with the group, oh my gosh, I would have been so much better, so much more confident and capable at doing it. Alicia, if anybody wants to reach out with you and have a call with you to try and understand how they can get more cash in their pocket, how would they get a hold of you?
Well, Nancy, I'm happy to offer to your audience a complimentary pay promotion readiness assessment call. Normally, I charge $1,000 for this, but I'm happy to take, because I get results. But and what you would get out of the call is, we'll talk about sort of where you're positioned, what you see your challenges as, and sort of outline for you what some of the next steps are to position yourself for that promotion. So we'll put the link. We'll put the link in, and if you'd like a call, book some time with me. We can talk about how to make your money dreams your reality.
Alicia, that is so generous. So generous. And anybody who's watching this who doesn't take Alicia up, then needless to say, you must have money to throw away, or you are an exceedingly good negotiator and doing what our first speaker did, who's like earning more than the CEO. So if you're not earning more than the CEO, I would book time with Alicia for this call. Alicia, it was my pleasure to have you on this event and share these tips with people. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Nancy. I really appreciate it. And good luck to your audience.